I've spoken to a lot of people about the US CMA, and the immediate response when they hear that CMA is an examination with just two papers, is it good enough? Our typical Indian mindset is the more you study, the more knowledgeable you are. But unfortunately, that is not the scene with respect to the US CMA. Imagine US CMA is a one sitting exam with just two papers, but is recognized in more than 100 countries across the world. How is this possible? The primary objective of this video is to throw some highlights on how CMA USA is different from the various professional certification options that India has. A typical Indian professional certification in the field of finance and accounting is for a minimum period of 2 years and it extends even beyond that. Whereas the US CMA can be completed in a period of between 8 to 10 months and it enjoys global recognition. How is this magic possible? Let us look at the various reasons why US CMA enjoys global recognition. Similar to many other US certifications, the US CMA is predominantly an objective type of an examination. An exam consists of two parts: 100 multiple choice questions to be answered in 3 hours and two descriptive questions containing 5 to 6 sub questions each in a period of 1 hour. Now, what is the biggest advantage of a multiple choice question? The general feeling is multiple choice questions are much easier to answer, but believe me, you will have to be accurate when answering a multiple choice question. Thus, a mistake even in the last step is not going to get you any marks. Thus, you are not awarded marks for inaccuracy, which is typical of an Indian exam, which is more descriptive in nature. As an analogy, I always say if you are to call yourself a professional, you need to be accurate with a high level of proficiency, which is what a CMA requires. Let's say that a patient goes to a doctor for a surgery, and after completion of the surgery, the doctor is supposed to have 15 stitches done on the patient. The doctor comes outside and says, 13 stitches, I've done it properly, but the last two stitches, there is some problem with that. Please adjust. We are definitely not going to accept that. Similar is the case of getting marks for a partially right answer in a descriptive scenario, which I'm not for basically. So, with respect to CMA, the minimum pass mark is 360 on a scaled basis out of 500, which is roughly equivalent to 72-73%. Now imagine answering 100 multiple choice in 3 hours would mean that the student has to be not only accurate but also possess the necessary speed to complete that paper. Upon completion of the multiple choice questions, a student has to solve the descriptive part, which comprises of two descriptive questions, with each descriptive question containing about 5 to 6 sub questions. All these 10 to 12 questions a student has to complete in a duration of 1 hour, which again would mean he has to have thorough conceptual understanding. The next important thing we need to understand is how is the curriculum for a CMA examination set. What happens in the US is the IMA people go and talk to industry leaders and understand what skill sets they are looking for and accordingly factor all those skill sets in the examination. This essentially means that a student is industry ready when completing the CMA exams and taking up an employment. Now, how should a student prepare for the CMA examination? Let us understand the preparation is not typical to an Indian certification, which is primarily descriptive in nature, whereas CMA is primarily objective in nature. So the most important ingredient is conceptual knowledge and understanding, which cannot be developed overnight. Consistency is the key for somebody preparing for a CMA examination than a last minute preparation. So my typical advice for a student who is wanting to get into the CMA is stop studying from today and start learning, because There is a huge difference between studying and learning. Studying is with marks in mind, whereas learning is with knowledge in mind. Wanting to improve your knowledge? Come to Finspire. We will inspire you and transform your lives. Together we can, together we shall.